Today, I wanted to talk about what's going on in the world. Every now and then, acá cuando nos predicamos un mensaje especial to keep you up to date para que esté mirando lo que está pasando en el mundo, ¿verdad? I don't know if you're paying attention to the news, no sé si están poniendo atención a las noticias, hermano, pero se puede ser una guerra bien grande, a war could happen anytime. But the good thing is that it's all written in God's Word. Hermanos, and lo bueno es que todo está escrito en la palabra de Dios. And a lot of people, they may tell you, well, where is it? Well, a lot of people may say, it's all in God's Word, and then you ask them where, they don't even know where it's at. But it's there. Well, today, we're going to see where exactly what's going on in the world and what's going to happen. And the good thing is de que Dios no nomás nos dice qué es lo que está pasando, pero lo que va a pasar, what's going to happen. So, hermanos, without further ado, sin perder más tiempo, let's go ahead and open our Bibles to the book of Isaiah, en el libro de Isaías, capítulo 7, the book of Isaiah, chapter 7. Hermanos, the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, okay? And we're going to spend some time in the book of Isaiah. Vamos a tomar tiempo en el libro de Isaías. Hermanos, and always recall that it's called the prophet Isaiah. Se llama el profeta Isaías, right? And what does the prophet do? And not only does he prophesy God's word, he also foretells through God's word what's going to happen in the future. Hermanos, vamos para el libro de Isaías capítulo 7, so vamos a orar. Father, we give you glory and honor for everything you do. Open our eyes, open our ears, open our hearts to understand your word. At this hour, we give you thanks for the word we're about to see. Father, give us understanding and wisdom. Te lo pido todo en el nombre del Señor Jesús. Amen. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Pueden tomar asientos de que quisiera. Hermanos, the whole thing is to sweep up Israel and to an all-out war with Iran or try to get Iran out. They tried to get Iran involved last week through dijeron que iba a bombardear the oil fields, right? They said that Iran had bombed the oil fields. Pero the president of Iran is way smarter than that. Smarter, hermanos, than a lot of politicians. And he outsmarted them. Hermanos, and he told them, he told them a bunch of stuff about. Pero we're not going to get into that. The thing is, hermanos, that they're trying to lure Iran. They're trying to get Iran out somehow. And this is the way they're trying to do it. Hermanos, and it's all in God's word. Todo está en las palabras de Dios. So let's get to it. Vamos a ver lo que está pasando. And if Iran gets in, Russia gets in. And if Russia gets in, you know that is World 3. So Iraq gets in, Israel gets in, hermanos, and so it's all being set up. So vamos a leer lo que está escrito. Let's go ahead and get to God's word, what is written. The thing is, hermanos, that Trump wants peace, but there's a lot of people inside the Congress that work for Satan. They're the deep state. They're really called the Illuminati, or the sons of Satan, the Canaanites. Hermanos, they want nothing to bring, hermanos, but to bring war. Hermanos, and they're gonna, I'm sorry, hermanos, but they sort of fooled the president, hermanos, into their trap. Hermanos, the thing is, they want to get Trump out too. So but the good thing again, hermanos, is getting God's word, and ya me voy a callar and let the word of God speak. Isaiah chapter 7. Isaías capítulo 7, hermanos, okay? And praise God, Isaiah chapter 7. And let's look around, hermanos. Come over here, Brother Vicky. Verse 1. It says, chapter 7, verse 1, Isaiah. It says, and it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah. But though we puede decir, well, esto pasó hace mucho. You can say that this happened, this is history. This happened, back in, 1 Kings and 1 Chronicles, right? But remember what I said? We're reading it from the prophet Isaiah. So okay, somehow history is going to repeat itself, or whatever happened in history is a foreshadow of what we're going to see in the future. Okay? He said, and it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, that the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, and when you think of Judah, think of Jerusalem, okay? That Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel. And when you read Israel, don't think of the 12 tribes. Hermanos, in Judah, Jerusalem, there's only one tribe. En Jerusalén, nomás hay un tribu. Son los judíos, por ahí 12 tribus. There's 12 tribes. Where are the other 12? Well, a good place to find them is where the Christian nations are at. And that's one. And the other one, United States. And the United States got all the tribes, okay? Praise God. Dice ahí, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it, but could not prevail against it. Hey man, how can we get Israel into a war? How can we bring it in? How can we get the nation Israel, Judah, not Jerusalem, the people around it? Verse 2. And it was told the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim. Ephraim, hermanos, today, nowadays, is Britain. And where did the United States come out of? Britain, ¿verdad? Ephraim es la Gran Bretaña. ¿Qué nación salió de la Gran Bretaña? Pues Estados Unidos, okay? It says there's a conspiracy. A lot of people say, well, I don't believe in conspiracy. Well, the Bible says right here that there's a conspiracy with Syria and with Ephraim. What is the intention of this conspiracy? And his heart was moved, and the heart of his people, as the trees of the wood are moved in the wind. Verse 3. And then said the Lord unto Isaiah, go forth now to meet Ahaz, thou and Shear-Ariashub, the son of the end of the conduit, of the upper pool, and the highway of the fuller's field, and said to him, take heed, be quiet, fear not, neither be faint-hearted, for the two tails be smoking firebrands, for the fierce anger risen with Syria, and of the son of Remaliah. Here, hermanos, the king of Syria was, hermanos, of course, Pekah, Rezin, the king of Syria. Well, present day, ahorita, está Assad, Bashar Assad. The thing about Bashar Assad, hermanos, is, this guy right here, hermanos, a lot of people say he's the dictator, and a real evil dictator, that he murders his own people. Well, the thing about that, that there's allegations, but there's no proof. They say the United Nations might say, well, let's prove that he got his own nation, this and that. Hermanos, that's per se, hermanos. They haven't proven it without a shadow of a doubt that he got his own people. Hermanos, well, the thing is, Bashar Assad, hermanos, in 2011, Barack Obama, hermanos, issued, hermanos, indirectly, the Arab, hermanos, Spring. It was an uprising, hermanos, that was sent by United States CIA agents, hermanos, to bring about insurrections and riots in many of the nations they called hostile, so they can overthrow that government and install their own so-called democratic government, like they did Gaddafi. Hermanos, they got rid of Libya, they got rid of Gaddafi, hermanos, and now, hermanos, Libya, which was one of the richest nations in the world, is now ran by a bunch of thug jihadists, hermanos, that to the United States and a lot of people, hermanos, that were involved in getting rid of Gaddafi. The same thing they tried to do in 2012 with Assad. The thing that happened with Assad, Assad was protecting the Christians. And don't let anybody fool you. Oh, the Kurds are Christians. No, only 0.2% of the Kurds are Christian. 98% of them are, hermanos, Sunni Muslims. Okay? And the Sunni Muslims are at war with the Shia Muslims. And they've been at war for thousands of years. Ever since Allah Muhammad supposedly, allegedly ascended up to heaven. And both of them claim rights to the belief of the true belief. So they want to bring their caliphate, one the republic and one was a state of Islam. And the other, of course, the Islamic State of Islam, or the Islamic State. And the thing is, well, they're at war all the time. Okay, todo el tiempo tienen guerra esas dos facciones. They're always. You know, and the thing is, well, they were trying to get rid of Assad, like they did Gaddafi. But the thing is that Iran and Russia prevented United States through the so-called rebels. And remember, these rebels were Sunni rebels. So it was Russia sponsors the Shia rebels, and the United States sponsors the Sunni rebels. So they sponsor their own terrorists, and we sponsor our own terrorists. Okay? All right. So okay, they're trying to get rid of Assad, and they did it, hermanos, because of Russia. So they tried their whole best. You know what they did? They did a deal with the Kurds. They said, the Kurds wanted to get Bashar al-Assad out. Los Kurds querían sacar a Assad para afuera. Okay? And Bashar al-Assad said, the Kurds said, the United States made a deal with the Kurds back in 2012, 2013. Because, hermanos, they were, the Islamic, ISIS, the Sunni Muslims, ISIS, were killing all the Christians, beheading them, and I was taking over everything. And nobody, the only persons that were really killing ISIS back then was Russia and Iran, because they were Sunni Muslims. And they were protecting Bashar al-Assad. The thing about Bashar al-Assad, he was protecting the Christians from being slaughtered. That was going on. As through President Trump, hermanos, and the new generals and all that, they went out without war, and with the help of Russia, Iran, with the help of many nations, Great Britain, they got rid of so-called ISIS. They didn't get rid of them, hermanos. The only thing they got rid of is get rid of their name. Al-Qaeda became ISIS. ISIS, all you got to do is change their name. So a lot of people are not calling them, are you ISIS? Oh no, I'm not ISIS. That's it. But there's still a lot of ISIS in there. All they did was change their name. So, yeah, of course, they're gone. The name ISIS might be gone, but they're still there. Okay? So, para que uno entienda lo que está pasando, well, you can understand what's going on. So, the next step was to get rid of Assad. Trump said, no, we're not involved in any more wars. Because if we touch Assad, that's Russia's buddy. That's Russia's buddy, and Iran's buddy. We attack Assad, all out war. So they had to think about something, and this is how they're doing it. Okay, look at verse 5. He said, because Syria, Ephraim. He said, verse 5. Because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have taken evil counsel against thee. In other words, conspiracy against thee, saying, let us go up against Judah and vex it, and let us make a priest therein for us, and set a king in the midst of even the son of Tabal. You see, the Sunni Muslims and the Shia Muslims have one or have two enemies that are common enemies of the Shia Muslims and common enemies of the Sunni Muslims. You know who that is? Israel. The nation Israel over there where Jerusalem's at. Okay? So, what if we can make Israel to come into the whole picture of Syria? What's going to happen? That's the plan. To lure Israel in Syria somehow. My enemy is your enemy. And, it makes us friends. In other words, they can team up so they can attack Israel. Okay, that's not my words. We're going to read it in a little bit. Just wait up. Let's go ahead and go, hermanos, aquí, hermanos, Isaiah 8. Isaiah 7 through 8, praise God. He said, for the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is risen, and within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken, and it be not people. Look at verse 17 and 18. He said, the Lord shall bring upon thee, upon the people, and upon thy father's house, days have not come from the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, even the king of Assyria. So it's telling us, hermanos, who's the king of Assyria? Not the Syrians in Syria. Those are those that were some of the Christians in Syria are Assyrians. And most of the Christians fight for Assad. So that you can know, okay, most of the Christians fight for Assad. And Assyria is the main Christian right now. But here, Assyria was one that took over the Jews. It took over the 10 tribes. And he is symbolic here of the Antichrist. Simboliza el Anticristo, hermanos, okay? So, here, hermanos, let me know that when these things come to pass, cuando estas cosas comienzan a mirar, you start seeing these things, the Antichrist is soon. Verse 18, it shall come to pass, cuando comienzas a mirar estas cosas venir a cabo, mira que el Anticristo, hermano, está cerca. Verse 18, it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall hiss. And what hisses? The snake, the serpent, hermanos, Satan. Or he said, shall hiss for the fly that is in the uttermost parts of the rivers of Egypt, and for the bin in the land of Assyria. And they shall come, okay, and shall rest all of them in desolate valleys. That's the abomination of desolation, Satan. So he's telling us that. Okay, let's go to Isaiah chapter 8. Vamos para el libro de Isaías 8. Okay, Isaiah 8. Ahora mira en el verso 4. Isaiah 8, chapter, verse 4. Dice, before the child shall have knowledge to cry, my father and my mother, the riches of Damascus and the spoil of Samaria shall be taken away. Before the king of Assyria. Hermanos, all the advancements we did in Syria, all the advancements we did in Iraq. What happened when President Barack Obama left, took out the troops in Iraq? It created a vacuum. And I brought forth all these terrorists again. What happened when, hermanos, what happened after Gaddafi was toppled down? A vacuum again. To bring all these terrorists. What happened? What's going to happen, hermanos, praise God? When the United States leaves Syria, again, it's going to be, another vacuum. It's going to get full of more of those Islamic jihadists. Okay? All the advancement, dice aquí, before the child had knowledge to cry, mother, father, before 3 years, before the child can talk, all the advancements we did, banana, shall be taken away. This is before the king of Assyria, the Antichrist. But look at verse 5. There's hope. The Lord spake also to me again, saying, for his master this people refuse, no quieren las aguas de Shiloh. El Shalom quiere decir el que Dios mandó, the one that God sent to bring peace, prosperity. The waters of Shiloh mean the waters of the Savior, the waters of Jesus. They don't want the waters of Jesus. No quieren la palabra de Dios. They don't want that. They don't want anything to do with God's word. No les interesa la palabra de Dios. It doesn't even interest them. Oh, why should I read it? I'm going to be calm. That's the number one excuse. Dice, the Lord spake also to me again, saying, for as much as this people, they refuse the water of Shiloh, in other words, the waters of Jesus. If you go do a deeper study, hermanos, it takes you, hermanos, to Jesus. Okay? The one that he sent to bring peace. and rejoice in prison and Remaliah's son. Dice, now therefore, behold, the Lord bringeth up upon them the waters of the river, a flood, un diluvio. But no diluvio de agua, no, don't think it's going to be a deluge of water, like we've been seeing here in David. But it's called the flood of lies, by that's going to proceed out of the serpent's mouth. Revelation chapter 12, verse 14. Strong and many, even the king of Assyria. That's the Antichrist. And all his glory shall come up over all his channels and go over all the bank. And he shall pass through Judah and shall overflow and go over. He shall reach even to the neck. And the stretching out of his wings, the wings of abomination, shall fill the breadth of the land of the earth. It doesn't say over Jerusalem. It doesn't say over, praise God, over just Israel, like Nebuchadnezzar. It says over the land, Hebrew word, the earth, todo el mundo. He said, oh, Emmanuel. And that is a transliteration meaning, hermanos, God with us. See, despite all these troubles and despite whatever's going in the world, God is with us. Hermano, aunque pase lo que pase, o se miren todas las cosas que estamos viendo, Dios está con vosotros, Emmanuel. Verse 9, associate yourselves, O you people, ye shall be broken in pieces. No, make up your mind. ¿Vas a servir a Dios? ¿O no vas a servir a Dios? Make up your mind who you're going to be, and you're going to stand. You're going to be Christian, or you're going to stand with everybody else, weak, not representing the true Christ. We need to represent what we are and what we believe in, and stand up in what we believe. We live in a time, hermano, when people don't know what to do because they're afraid. I was telling my son this morning, I told him, did you know that when I would go to school, we would pray every time before we would go eat? We would be in line. I don't know, Roxanne, but back then when I was like in first, second grade, third grade, we would all pray. There would always be prayer. And they would even let us read our Bible. Hasta nos dejaban leer la Biblia. They would even let us carry our Bible in school. But slowly, gradually, all of that is gone. Now we see, hermanos, abortion, hermanos, being justified. A lot of sin in the world now being justified. And no Christians to stand up for the truth. Y no hay nadie que pueda abrir la boca, hermanos, to stand up para, hermanos, representar a Cristo. It says, associate yourselves. You shall be broken in pieces. Give ear, punto sentido, all you far countries, guard yourself. You shall be broken in pieces. Guard yourself, and you shall be broken in pieces. Take counsel together. Hagan conspiracies. Hagan, hermanos, planes. You make your own conspiracy. Take counsel. Make them. No te van a jalar. They're not going to work. And it shall come to naught. Make a bunch of lies up. Get in cahoots. Collusion with other nations to bring down Christians, to bring down Israel, to bring down what we stand for. Just take counsel, do it, I dare you, do it. And it's going to come to nothing. You speak the word, and it shall not stand. That's what we got to do. What are we going to do? Speak the word. Habla la palabra. What do we do now? what? We speak the word. Speak the word, brothers. Habla la palabra, and it's not gonna bow to human beings. Take counsel together, he says, speak the word, and it shall not stand. For God is with us. Ya no dice Immanuel, ahora dice, porque Dios con vosotros. And he will never leave us and never forsake us. Nunca nos dejará, nunca nos desamparará. For the Lord spake thus me a strong hand and instructed me that I should not walk in the way of the people, saying, say you not a conspiracy, a confederacy. All them to whom the people shall say a conspiracy. Neither fear you their fear, nor be afraid. Hermanos, don't be afraid of the terrorism. You know, these people, hermanos, the ones that are really in charge, their motto is, out of chaos comes order. So their job is to bring chaos. To bring a different, be like World War I, World War II, it brought us United Nations. What is going to happen after World War III? Or, I mean, if God's not going to let the earth be destroyed, don't ever, hermanos, believe that. God's not going to let his earth be destroyed. But it could commence, it could start. World War III could start. But that's when the Antichrist is going to show up, bring false peace, and everyone's going to believe it's Jesus. These hermanos, well, their job is to bring chaos, terrorism. What's happening right now that President Trump brought out the troops? Chaos. And their job is to bring chaos, to bring in order. Order out of chaos. Not build, but to destroy, to bring in new. Okay? Praise God. Okay? This in verse 13. Sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear. Que sea Dios tu temor. Let God be your fear. A lot of people fear man. A lot of people fear what's going on. But the Word of God says to fear God. Porque Él tiene el poder de no nomás echar tu alma en el infierno, pero tu cuerpo y alma en el lago de fuego. Hermanos, fear Him. I am. Fear Him because He has the power to cast not only your soul, but your body and soul into the fire, hermanos. Okay? Verse 13, sanctify the Lord. Verse 14, He shall be for a sanctuary, but for a stone and stumbling block, and for a rock of offense. Go both the house of Israel, for a gin and for a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And Jesus Christ, you believe Him? He's going to be a rock. You refuse Jesus, that's what's going to make you stumble. Tú, hermano, crees en Cristo, vas a ser tu roca. Si refugias creer en Cristo, esa va a ser tu caída. Okay, praise God. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 9. Now let's go to Isaiah 9. Look at verse 20. Isaiah 20, look at this. It says, and when, verse 19 says, when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits and wizards. In other words, people that bring out the dead. Gente, hermanos, que dicen que traen los muertos para atrás. Those are demons. Curanderos. They work with demons. They don't work with God. Brujería. They work with demons. They don't work with God. A lot of people seek that, hermanos, peace and comfort out of these so-called curanderos. Brujería and witchcraft. It's a bunch of demons. Those are familiar spirits. And unto wizards that peep and their mutter, should not a people seek unto their God for the living, for the dead? No debemos ir con Dios para que nos dé consuelo, para que nos dé respuestas, para que nos dé la vida. Verse 20, to the law and to the testimony. If it is not here, it's because there's no light in them. Si hablan, hermanos, y no predican de aquí, es que no hay luz en ellos. Praise God. Isaiah chapter 9, Isaiah 9. Next chapter, ¿no? Look at verse hermanos, verse 8, the Lord sent a word unto Jacob. He said, and it has lighted up upon Israel, and all the people shall know, even Ephraim, and the inhabitants of Samaria that say in their pride and stoutness of heart. You know, there's not a greater power than the United States of America on this world. In this world, it is the most greatest nation, the most blessed nation, the most powerful nation. But there's one that we need to humble ourselves to, and that is God. That's why, from the beginning, we would say a nation under God. Which now even that is an attack, trying to get rid of that, the word God. But it offends a person. One atheist offends one atheist, and they want to change God's law. One atheist, and they change everything. They change school. They change about everything for one atheist, just because, oh, we're going to offend him. Manos, be careful. When pride is the one of the first sins that ever came. Pride was invented by Satan too. And even though the United States is at the might, and because God has given us that power, we shouldn't forget where all that power comes from. He said, the bricks are falling down, I will rebuild with no stone. The sycamores are cut down, but we will change them to cedars. In other words, let them be destroyed. Something bigger is coming. How many have ever played pool here? ¿Qué tantos han jugado pool aquí? Yeah, have you ever played pool? How about chess? Right? When you're doing that move, you're not thinking about that move. You're thinking about the next move, you know? When you're playing pool, you're not thinking about that ball, because you already thought about it the last play. When you're thinking about that ball, you're thinking about the other ball. How are you going to set it up? And your end thing is to get that 8 ball in there, to set up that 8 ball, you can make it easy. So when you do it, you go, you think in your head, man, I want this ball to end up over here. That way I can use this one, a combo, and bring it in the corner pocket. So you think future. You see? You don't, these people are always thinking ahead. Okay? Just because President Trump took out the troops, hermanos, he's thinking about what's the setup, what's going to happen after that. Kuwait, Saddam Hussein, hermanos, invaded Kuwait. He thought he had the green light. They went to go take him down. And they weren't happy with that, hermanos, till they, for sure, later on, 2003, brought him down. Without any proof of weapons of mass destruction. They brought him down. So they say, you know what? Let it go to waste. We got other plans. We're going to build bigger, and we're going to be more powerful. Order out of chaos. Verse 11. Therefore the Lord shall set up the adversaries of Israel. Look at this. The Lord shall set up the adversaries of risen against him, and join his enemies together. I thought, who's he going to set up against him? All his enemies. He's going to set them up together. Who are the enemies of Syria? Well, who's on Syria's side? Iran, Russia, there's Palestinian, Hezbollah. Who's on the other side? Saudi Arabia. United States, Britain, Canada, hermanos, all France. We support the Sunni Muslims, the Sunni rebels. Russia supports the Shia rebels. But like I said, they all have one common enemy. And that is the United States and Israel. There's the plan right there, hermanos. I didn't say it, the Word of God says it. It says, with this, the ITAC plan, it says, let's join his enemy together. Verse 12, the Syrians before and the Palestinians behind. The Syrians from the east, the Philistines from the west. Behind, and they shall devour Israel with open mouth, for all his anger is not turned away, but his hand is still stretched out still. So what's the plan? To bring Israel and the United States in the war. So look, if one enemy can join the other enemy, so they can fight the same enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Did I say it? No. The plan is right there. The plan is to bring Iran in, Russia in, United States in, Israel in. So both Sunni Muslims, Shiite Muslims can join together and fight this in this battle of the end times. But guess what? God says, my hand is still stretched out. He still wants to hold you, wants to comfort you. He wants to forgive you. Te quiere perdonar, te quiere consolar, te quiere besar. There's still a chance for you as long as you are alive. So Syria, hermanos, is a big time player of the end times. It's all in God's Word. It's all here, hermanos. And well, I'm not going to read all of it, but look at, let's go ahead and read more. Listen. For the people turn not unto him that smited them, neither did they seek the Lord of hosts. No buscan al Señor. They don't want to look for God. Therefore the Lord will cut off from Israel the head and the tail, branch and rush. And one day, the ancient, the honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teaches lies, he's the tail. For the leaders of his people cause them to err. They that are led of them are destroyed. Los pastores enseñan mal. Los líderes, hermano, puras mentiras. The prophets prophesy lies. The pastors, hermano, false doctrine. And for this, my people is destroyed. Hermano, look at verse 21. I don't want to go through all because we don't have time. He said in 21, he said, Manasseh, Ephraim, Manasseh, of course, United States, and end-time prophecy, they together shall be against Judah. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Not my word, God's word. Okay? You read it, you take it as you read it, okay? Praise God. Isaiah, and remember, we're reading from Isaiah, okay? Praise God. Prophecy. Look at Isaiah chapter 10. Capítulo 10. So God gave us chapter 7, chapter 8, chapter 9, and chapter 10. All I'm talking about is Syria. Todos hablando de Syria, okay? 10, look at Isaiah chapter 10. Hermanos, Isaiah chapter 10, let's go to verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger and the staff of their hand is mine indignation. And who's the Assyrian again? That's the Antichrist. I will send him against an hypocrite nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. Si yo le voy a dar, yo voy a darle a permitir a Satanás, al anticristo, que destruya, que te destruya. I'm going to permit Satan, the Antichrist, to have power over you that they don't want anything to do with God's word. Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither does his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy and cut up nations, not a few, not Israel only, not Judah. So we're not talking about, hermano, a king, Assyria of old. We're talking about Assyria, the Assyrian, hermanos, the king, hermanos, called, hermanos, the king of the fearful king, the Antichrist. And his mind is to take over the world, not few, but the whole world, for the whole world will wonder after the beast. Verse 8, he said, for he has said, are not my princes altogether kings? Verse 9, is not Kadno as Karshemish, is not Hamas, that's a place in Israel, and Arpad is north of Aleppo. You know where Aleppo is at? That's Syria. We, United States, had a hold of Arpad, or Aleppo. Is not Samaria as Damascus? Of course, Damascus is the national capital, the capital city of Syria. He said, as my hand has found the king of the idols, and whose graven image did excel them of Jerusalem to Samaria, shall not I, as I have done unto Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols? Verse 12, wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord perform his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, has the Lord finished all his work upon Jerusalem? No. So we're not talking about old time or the time of old. We're talking about end time. Estamos hablando de los tiempos verdaderos, los últimos tiempos. Okay? Has the Lord finished his work in Jerusalem? No, I don't think so. I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria. In other words, that's when Satan will stand in the temple of God saying that he's God. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. And the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. The word high looks means his eye. Have you ever seen in movies, hermanos, basically in mostly all the movies, the symbol of the single eye, which is they cover the right eye and the left eye, like this. Even Goodwill has it. Well, that one eye doesn't mean the eye of God, because it's the left eye. It's the all-seeing eye of, not the all-seeing of God, all-seeing eye of God, but the all-seeing eye of Satan. And you see it all through all the elite, the rich people that are elite, that are dominated. The high looks means the evil eye. The eye of Satan, the eye of Lucifer, the eye of Osiris, the Illuminati eye, okay? Verse 13. Look how Satan thinks. For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent, I have removed the bounds of people, and I robbed the treasures. I have put down the inhabitants like a vacant man. He said, with my mind, you know how smart is Satan? ¿Sabes qué tan vivo es Satanás? The Word of God says in the book of Ezekiel chapter 28, and all of that, he was wiser than Daniel. And how is he wiser than Daniel? Because he was an angel. He was there with God. He knows everything. Like, well, not everything, pero sabe todo. He said, and what does he think? He said, I'm going to fool the world by coming as, being born a prostitute. And by telling people that if they don't believe in me, I'm going to cut their heads off. And that's going to fool all the people. You think Satan thinks like that? What will be a better plan? Him cutting people's heads off, or him coming from heaven? The most beautiful angel God ever created. El ángel más bonito que Dios ha creado. Venir del cielo con sus ángeles, with his own angels. What are people going to think? That is Jesus. Why? Because all the churches today are teaching that Jesus is coming first. Nowhere in God's word does it say that Jesus is coming first. The Bible tells us the Antichrist must show up first. So which plan will work better for Satan to fool the world? The one where he said, I'm going to cut me. If you don't believe in me, I'm going to cut your head off. Or the one coming from heaven, imitating with brightness, most beautiful angel God ever created, coming on a white horse with a rainbow around him, with a bunch of his angels coming with him, and your relatives that winded up in hell coming along with Satan with him. Which plan would work better for Satan to fool the world? Verse 14. In my hand, he said, hath found as I nest the riches of the people, and as one gathered eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. So, hermanos, there it is. What reminds Satan when you gather eggs? It reminds him when he's going to gather all the nations to worship him as Jesus. So what does Satan think when you're Easter hunting? Gathering eggs, Easter eggs? He's laughing, making fun of you. It reminds him of how he is going to gather the nations of the whole world when he comes as the Antichrist. It says right here, and my hand hath found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathereth eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. And there was none that moved the wing, or opened his mouth, or even peeped. They all got full. They all fell into his hands. Como cake, hermanos. Como pancake, vámonos, vete para acá. Praise God. Que todos tienen hambre. Y me está dando hambre a mí. Bless the Lord. Let me check what time it is, man, okay? Praise God. Those just, 4 chapters in Isaiah? Hermanos, yeah? Praise God. Let's go ahead, hermanos. I guess there's a lot more to be said, hermanos, pero I guess we can go one more. Para acabar. Let's go ahead and finish, hermanos, with, let's go to the book of Amos. And let's go to Amos chapter 5.